are here today to honor those gentlemen. In honor of those two gentlemen, we will be naming the field event area this morning. Will be named the Donald A. Trimble Family Field Event Area, and the oval will be named the Livingston Oval. It is indeed an honor to have these two gentlemen part of our program forever and ever. Mr. Don Trimble. Mr. Don Trimble began the Kent High Track program in the spring of 1963 and coached here until 1978. He also began the first girls track team in the early 1970s, and amazingly enough, his first team was undefeated and won the state championship the first year. He's had many state champions and even a national champion in the javelin. And he himself is the 2010 hammer throw champion in his age division. To add a bit of personal insight into the amazing careers of these two gentlemen, we have two speakers for Mr. Trimble, Mr. Tom Condrath and Mr. Mark Hounsel.
What a day today is, huh? I first met Coach Trimble in 1963. The school board had just awarded him the sum of $50 to put together tractors. Now, before you think he got rich on that $50, he had to get the equipment, he had to dig all the landing pits for the field events, he had to paint circles in the parking lot for the discus and the shot. Plus, he was also the bus driver. Now, the bus consisted of his family station. And since this was before GPS, on more than one occasion, our warm-ups consisted of sprinting from the station wagon to the starting line of our event. Now, even with all of this, in the first year, one of the boys set a state record in the shot put. Now, Coach was always interested in how he could make us better athletes. And one day he read an article in National Geographic about the Watutsi tribe in Africa. The boys could jump 6 feet in the air. Well, we became concerned when we found out that one of the things they ate was fresh cow's blood. After that, it was always somebody's job to check the water cooler. The coach brought it out on the field. Now, we were like athletes today. We always complain that, gee, our track shoes are too slow. The discus just doesn't fly. It always lands short of where it's supposed to be. And the coach told us a story about a boy named Roger. And Roger couldn't afford to go to college, so he was going to get a track scholarship. He ran everywhere. He ran to school, he ran home. And along the way, he did get that scholarship. He went to college, became a medical doctor. And also, Roger Bannister was the first person in the world to run a sub-4-minute mile. The coach said, this is not a mystery on how you do this. It's not even difficult, but it is hard. You have to do the hard work. And the reason it's hard, it's easier to sit on your butt and watch someone else do it. If you want to do it, get off your butt and do it. Now, Coach would have used a different noun than I did to explain that part of your anatomy that you were supposed to get off. But the message was clear. In 1966, some of the boys from Kennett did just that. They went to the state meet, set a state record in the relay. And the newspaper that reported that said what's even more notable is that these boys don't have track to practice. They track practice and a cow patch. Well, we've come a long way from painted circles and a cow patch to this wonderful facility we have today. And it's fitting that both Coach Tremble and Livingston are honored for doing the hard work. And on behalf of the athletes that work with Coach Tremble, I want to say that you, in fact, not only made us better athletes, you made us better people. Thank you, Coach Tremble.
It gives me great pleasure to also introduce to you Mr. Mark Council.
Thank you, Principal Moylan, Director Brady. It was August 15th, 1962, when a man rode into town in a 57 Chevy with his wife to begin a career teaching at Kennett High School. He stopped at a local restaurant, a Conway Cafe. While he was there, he inquired of some local people if there was any work. Well, he was told that there was no work available. So he left and went to the mobile station, which is where the Irving is now by the library. And as he was getting his tank filled up, he asked if there was any work available, and the man hired him on the spot. And that was the beginning of an example of a work ethic that is sadly not seen that much anymore. Mr. Tremble began in 1962 raising his family, beginning his career, and initiating a program that culminated with what you see here today, this track and the field that's going to be named after him. But I want to just take a minute to talk to you about his work ethic. Mr. Tremble didn't just go to school and teach and come home at night and watch the TV. He had 2, 3, 4 jobs at a time. He worked 70 hours in addition to teaching at the high rate of pay of sometimes of $1.25 an hour. In knowing Mr. Tremble, he still has that first $1.25. He worked pumping gas, and I had the honor of working with him at one time. And pumping gas back then included checking under the hood, washing the windshields and such, air pressure in the tires. So it was busy work. And so 70 hours of that represented something. While he was doing that in 1968, he and his friend, fellow teacher Hollis Robbins, were taking their master course at Gorham State University, which is now University of Southern Maine. And they'd have to get up in the morning, 6:30, drive to Gorham, take classes until noon, and then come back. Upon arriving back, Donnie would go to work and still get his 70 hours in. He also worked for Shumway Marshall, delivering ice cream from Ossipee to Bethlehem. I tell you all this because it represents what it took to build a track program from nothing. He had a $50 budget and a $50 stipend, and he had to go to White's Garage to get tires. He got 120 tires and some mattresses to make a landing pad for the jumping event. Now, I never did it, but I bet that was a lot different than falling on this. So anyways, he continued his work. He continued presenting an ethic and an example of hard work and determination. And for that, he should be honored. And today we are honoring for that. I want to thank you, my good friend Donnie. You're a good man, and you deserve what you're getting today.
Now, if I may direct your attention to the far end of the field, where our field events take place. We have our 2 current captains, Darian Vaughn and Katie Anderson. Would you please unveil the sign? It's a wonderful, wonderful tribute to a tremendous man. Our second gentleman that we are honoring today is Mr. Bernie Livingston, our current track captain. Well, he's also our coach. Mr. Livingston, has coached 33 years, from 1980 to the present. He began as a girls coach in 1980 and coached the girls from 1980 to 1987. He's become both the boys and the girls coach from 1988 to the present. He coached the boys and girls indoor track team since the 1980s, and he's also coached the boys and girls cross country team for the past 31 years. He's one of the very few coaches that we've ever had here at Kennett High School that's coached 2 varsity sports for 30 years. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you 2 of our former track captains and Kennett alumni to speak and tribute to Mr. Bernie Livingston, Brian Fox, and Hannah Wright.
Bernie Livingston was my coach for all 4 years that I was here at Kennett, and he did so much to shape my future running career as well as who I am today. So I just wanted to say thank you for all he's done for me and all he's done for this program.
Bernie Livingston was probably one of the best coaches any athlete could ask for, and it was a very great honor just to be an athlete for him. And this is probably the best thing that can happen for him, and we're all happy that we can make this happen for him.
Thank you, guys. Also, we are privileged to have Mr. Dave Robinson, the coach from the Plymouth track team, here as well to honor Mr. Livingston.
Bernie, I was truly humbled when a family member asked me to offer a few thoughts today at the dedication of this beautiful track in your name. My plan is to offer a few words on a personal level, secondly, to broaden it to express what a lot of your friends, family, and the greater Mount Washington Valley have long wished to say. On a personal level, Bernie, you are my role model of what a coach should be. The passion you pour into your trade, how you conduct yourself, the values you impart to your team are second to none in coaching fraternity. Thank you for sharing your family with my family. We truly value your collective friendship. You are always offering up life lessons and wisdoms. I do so enjoy vicariously sharing in your successes and the friendships I have developed with families from the greater Conway region whose children you have coached, and of course your team. Moreover, I will forever treasure you sharing with me the best excuses to miss a meet or an event. The extended Robinson-Stokes family can only hope to someday emulate the coach modeling and blueprint you have provided for our family. Many congratulations on this well-deserved occasion. It is a mere expression of your tremendous commitment to all that is great about Kennett track and field, and I dare say, cross country. Now for a broader overview of this moment in history. You know, when I worked for the government, the standard outsider joke would go something like, how many state workers does it take to screw in a new light bulb? Around here, it has to be, how many years does it take to realize that there is no mystery to establishing for whom this track should be named? Have the powers to be not heard of the legend of Mooseface? I mean, really, is this rocket science? Or is the rest of New Hampshire, your friends from the Wilderness League, the White Mountain Milers, the greater Mount Washington Valley, grandparents, parents, ex-student athletes, and current student athletes just naive and don't understand that there's been a raging debate around here as for whom this track should be named? Are you kidding me? Did the powers to be just close their eyes to all the efforts Coach Livingston has offered to this region? Bernie, your imprint is everywhere. Just look at the record board that greets today's athletes. Look at the collegiate coaching ranks. Look at your local middle school program. Look at the currently constituted Kennett team. Really, is there any debate here? All we outsiders see is the surname Livingston. Just look around here. Bernie, you have brought your entire and similarly wonderfully committed family on board to promote all that is great about the Bernie Livingston touch. If this oval was named anything different, it would be just an injustice. You and only you are Kennett Track and Field, and we dare say this honor is way overdue. On behalf of everyone whose lives you have touched, our heartfelt congratulations on this very auspicious occasion.
Far end of the track, we have our two current track captains, Mr. Peter Hain and Emma Ash. Folks, would you please unveil the sign? It now gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the stars of today's ceremony, Mr. Don Tremble and Mr. Bernie Livingston.
Talk for 30 minutes. All you people would love to hear a geezer talk for 30 minutes. Right? Anyway, I just want to thank my beautiful bride of 52 years who's here somewhere, and all the athletes, and Tom Conrad was one of the better ones. He was a 52-second quarter miler and a 23.5 220 yard dash runner. And I want to thank all the people who made this track possible. That includes the Mulkern family, and Nike, and Cheryl Kowalik, and the school board, and everybody else who has made this possible. And you people are really lucky to have the Livingston clan doing all this for you all these many years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Tremble. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Bernie Livingston.
Thank you so much for all your kind words. Sometimes I have to look around and see if they're really talking about me. A couple of quick things I'd like to say, and then let's get on with the meat. I'd like to thank all the members of the Kennett High School community who helped to put this dedication ceremony together. To all the countless numbers of athletes that I have coached, as well as the many coaches I have worked or competed against, and also to my family, especially my wife, Eileen. I'd like to thank all of you so much for making my 30-year coaching career such a rewarding and enjoyable experience. Wins and losses are quickly forgotten, but friendships are forever. This is a very special honor that I most deeply appreciate and will remember and cherish forever. Thank you very much.
Runners, track athletes, have a great finals. Thank you.